Sutton Butler.
You'll borrow mine?
That's okay.
Okay.
I'm okay.
Are we caught up? We ready to go? Okay. Okay. Do I hear an approval for the minutes?
Move to approve.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Old business. Up down the roadscapes project on Highway 196 Junction in Fairview and associated dedication, Mr. Berkeley.
Well, Mr. Hall, I mean, we haven't met since we've been out there, I guess.
Yeah, we hadn't, so you just go ahead, because you're the one that identifies the plants, and I'm not. You know,
And I believe the
helped
chair
count a little bit,
recognized
but
you.
I just walked along, got hot.
God, it was, wasn't it?
It was.
Well, so, I was down at Lawson Associates this afternoon. It was a meeting that was set up a couple of weeks ago, right after Andrew Krager, Mr. Hall, and I met out here, and we walked around and we looked at really every plant.
Every plant.
Every plant was looked at and inspected.
And drainage.
And the drainage, or lack of, whatever, you know, but, and so one of the surprises was that some of the trees that LSI put in were not the right species. In fact, they are not even native, and that's the integrity of this particular, how special this project is that it's an all indigenous species roadscape.
How many?
Total, on the trees, there was a total of 18 trees put in that were not of the right species. And some of the grasses in the turnout there, the real tall grasses, that's a big blue stem. That was not on the original design. However, they look good.
They look good.
And, you know, they are native, so we kind of went ahead and said, okay, well, that's fine, we'll leave those in. They made a mistake.
Yeah.
And they probably didn't know they made the mistake, but, so we left those in. And then on the shrubs, let's see, it was, see, someone can do the math for me. It's 32, 33.
I don't do
44,
ciphering.
all right, so it's, let's see, 44, 84, 16, 361, 3, and 80.
Add those together.
Add those together.
Is there any ones that are right?
Are all those wrong?
These are actually, no, these are dead.
Oh,
Or, in some case, like they put an Asian beautyberry out there and it's supposed to be an American. How many?
588.
All right. So either those were dead, what LSI is responsible for replacing. Let's just say it that way. Either they're dead or they're numbers. And in some of those beds out there, we were actually coming up short in what they were supposed to have been. Could have been an honest mistake.
so
but-
Mike, wait a minute. So are the dead ones the ones that weren't in the median? These are the ones that are?
No, they're in the ones in the median. The outside, the integrity of the outside areas, and it's the ramp going out 96, that area in the kind of a semi-shady area, and then in the turnaround, the loop, whatever you want to call that, that goes into 96 coming from the west on the highway. All right, so that loop where the dedication sign is that
So there's 588 either dead or wrong.
right? That that LSI is responsible for replacing. So, but also there's a change order on grasses.
Yeah.
So this afternoon, I helped Andrew to figure out, okay, on spacing, if you took some of these plants that were planted that far apart, and if you went that far apart to give you more numbers, can we get these grasses in? Because the grasses are a very important part of the aesthetics of that landscape. So, and he's got it down right now. Here's the figures that I've got. $16,572. That's regarded as replacement figure on plants.
16,000 what?
$16,572. And this is Andrew's first run, so
Okay.
14,720 is the figures for the River Rock. And I don't have, yeah. And that's to lay it.
Wait a minute, before we, because I'll forget if we go on. So, you know, we asked if there was anything else we could have options of rather than River Rocks. Or are you telling me that River Rocks all we can do?
The TDOT will not let us do anything else. So there's nothing else you can do about that.
It's different though, Madam Chairperson. It's not the whole bed itself, it's right through the drainage.
It's to give the
They're gonna allow
engineer.
the mulch around the outer edge.
Well, that's not so hideous.
No, it's not, doesn't look bad at all.
It'll take a lot of maintenance.
It's a 1.5-inch river rock,
less.
so it's gonna be.
Less maintenance, yeah, river rock.
Will not wash away. It will be covered in landscape fabric
Rolling in the river
to
rock.
keep the weeds down.
You mean under, not covered in it,
No,
under?
yeah, it'd be covering the landscape fabric.
It's a lot easier.
You don't kill everything else.
The plants that you see in there now that are in the middle will go out to the edge.
So we really won't even see that after it's grown up.
It'll be
But not-
a few
but-
years, but
yeah,
in the
but-
meantime,
It won't be so
decorative.
hideous.
And it went
Okay.
out.
And here's my take on
Tomato,
that.
tomato.
Here's my take on that, is that right now you need something decorative in it. And it's not those shrubs out there, especially with some of them dead. So the sooner they can get started on that and get that in the middle, but what we've got to do is appease the regional TDOT engineer. And he's serious about it. He just give me my ditch back. And of course,
Shay Deason, right?
what's that?
Shay Deason.
This one that lives in Hickman County,
Yes,
drive by there?
Shay
yes.
Deason.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shay Deason. Let me give you, show you the card.
That's what I thought.
He's the regional TDOT engineer.
Yeah, for this region, yeah. So
So
we're not just-
there's $31,000.
Okay.
There's
No,
$31,292.
there's $2,130, that's the landscape fabric, which I thought was a little high, but what he's doing, he's going high with this to allow for, and this is not LSI's figures, this is Lawson Associates, Andrew Krager's figures.
So what's the landscape fabric?
2,130. It comes out to 33,422.
And who's responsible for that?
Well, here's what we're discussing, and I spoke with John Lavender and David Lowe's, and is that, the city of Fairview was not responsible for
The 16,000.
it's not responsible for any of this, actually, but we did not make that change for that ditch. We followed their lead, and so TDOT is how Lawson Associates is saying, is that TDOT made that change order, and that perhaps, TDOT should be responsible for that. So what he's gonna do is go to Sean Bible, see about getting money to be able to pay that, not the city of Fairview. We signed the contract for the original
Exactly,
figure,
original bid.
and that's it.
That's their oversight for not
Other
catching this.
other than the additional work change order on the grasses. I think it's like 2,500.
Yeah, it's about 2,500, 26.
So will this also impact our match, or are we still going with the original contract?
Still going with the original contract.
Yeah,
So our match will not be impacted and will not be out any more
This-
money?
Other than the 2,500, we'll have a 20% match there. That was additional that needed to be added to it.
$450.
Yeah, so we're still out to 20% of the original bid plus the 2,500. 20% of the 2,500.
Yeah, what's the grasses, what's,
Change order for the grasses?
Yes, that was grasses. Mike, you probably could explain the need for those in some areas.
yeah,
so we need to add.
yeah. There's gonna be more muhly grass put in, that's the pink muhly grass, switchgrass. There's four different species of grasses gonna be put in. And it's 156 or so grasses that'll be added in.
So the 2,500 for the change order of the grasses is just because we realized we need more grass?
Actually, that was on the original design.
It wasn't originally bid in there, it was lost out in the bid process. So when Lowe's and Associates talked to me about it, we agreed to go with, you know, not to exceed $2,500.
So the original design had these grasses in it. It was left out because, as a kind of a buffer, just in case things were not. This is back in the early stages when all these figures were being put together.
I think the question is of the $2,500, the state's still gonna be 80%,
Yes,
and we're gonna be 20%.
yes.
Well, no, I'm kind of back beyond that question now. So it was in the original design.
But it was not put on the bid.
It was overlooked when they bid.
Oh, my gosh.
But it was on the bid.
It wasn't on the bid. It was overlooked.
It was overlooked by them on the bid.
Okay, well, then I'll go back, here again, I'm going back to my original question. If it was on the bid, they overlooked it.
Who's they?
Yeah, who is they?
That's right.
Okay, then why are we suddenly having to pay for it because they overlooked it?
But it was part of the original specs,
Okay,
so that would have been in there anyway had they caught it.
We approved the bid. It's put out and approved the bid, and it wasn't on there. And
so we
catch
didn't catch it.
it. We didn't catch it. So you can't turn around and go back on the bid and say, okay, you have to approve it.
Remind me again, if they put the rock in the middle, they are gonna allow some
Mulch
mulch.
around the edge.
It'll be almost exactly like that, but just different plant material.
With landscaping fabric under it.
But that's going down the middle of the highway, the drainage. Okay. Yeah, where our little lakes are,
Was it temporary?
temporary lakes,
Yeah, there's got to be some,
drainage.
T-Dot come in and scrape out.
Okay.
Because we saw the main area where it was causing it. It was this high compared to here.
Okay,
And they
I
scraped
do
it
it.
out to where it drains off.
Okay.
Okay, is there anything else, any more discussion on this?
That's nice looking there, if they had it like that. Be
Any more
pretty.
discussion?
So, have we paid LSI anything?
15,000 startup money. Yeah.
There was a discussion with, I guess it was David Lowe's that said something this afternoon about, let's not pay them any more money. You know, let's not put out, and there is supposedly, according to Lowe's and Associates, there is a procedure that TDOT asks for the payment, so,
It's very meticulous.
yeah.
Now,
It is.
has LSI been made aware of
No,
all of this?
no. And
Oh.
I keep at, yeah. And
I
keep at-
see.
So one of the reasons that he asked me to be in this meeting this afternoon is, as a grower myself, I know, what is pretty much available out there. And that was an issue when they, you know, I could just back up and presume that LSI won the bid, and then they looked at the list and said, uh-oh. And so I helped them to come up with a plant list of some replacements.
Them being,
Lawson Associates.
okay,
Lawson Associates, so that it won't be as hard for LSI to, find the plant material out there for the price. And some of the prices, I was looking at their prices that they bid it on, and man, I mean, you're talking about top dollar on some of this. They put in, the biggest loss they had was 361 of the St. John's wort. This is a beautiful shrub, gets about this tall, yellow flowers, beautiful fall color, tough as nails. Why they lost 361, I can only guess that it was mishandled at the beginning, because it's such a tough plant. Well, those were going in at 1 gallon containers, and their price was $12 a piece. And to give you kind of an example of some of the others, they had inkberry hollies, and they took a real big hit on the inkberry hollies that were down at the other end, on the west end. And those were priced at $65 so a piece. So and so what we tried to do is not so much just match up plant per plant, but match up some dollars. And of course, that helps us on these grasses as well, I believe. But they're going to rework it. I saw the new design today, and it looks good, the fact that there is this going down the middle. With some of these plants, like the grasses are on the edge, the shrubs on the edge. There are a few elderberries, which is a little, almost a small little tree that's going to be in the rock with the landscape fabric in there. And so he can still have his ditch, the engineer can still have his ditch, the water will flow around that and still has some,
What about, with it, they're going to take care of the standing water though, in this process?
you know, as far as the engineer is concerned, once you put that, you know, his issue was not so much the standing water, but mulch getting into
Drainage
the
system.
drainage
Talking about
system.
the drainage.
Yeah.
My
So there
point-
will not be mulch in there anymore.
What my point being is, some plants can't stand standing water.
There won't be, except for those elderberries, there won't be anything in
And
this.
elderberries take standing
Yeah,
water.
pretty much, yeah. There's a
Okay.
few of these plants that actually could.
If that
So-
drainage problem gets solved up by the 96 bridge, the way I showed you where, that's gonna carry it on.
Well, and I was talking to Andrew about that, and see, there's no money set aside for grading.
I'm gonna talk to
That's,
T-Dot about that.
that's a TDOT issue,
I'm
and
gonna
TDOT
say-
needs to, so really, there was standing water there before this project.
Yeah,
We just see it more now.
And,
In
you
fact,
know,
I'll
we,
be with the lady that's gonna pay the bill
Let me ask a,
Sean.
in a meeting.
Oh, yeah.
so-
let me ask a question. So when we went into this, we had TDOT engineer, we had it all signed off on. TDOT, everybody was good to go. So now we have a TDOT engineer who passes by it and nixed it. So do we have?
Regional.
Yeah, well, so do we have the blessings of TDOT again? I mean, how do we know that we've gotten as high as we need to go to get this approved?
okay,
As
so,
long as we do that Riverstone, we've got their approval.
Well, but
Well-
Wayne, somebody else may come by here and done not like that.
we,
Was the regional engineer in on that meeting?
Whitney Sullivan was here, Jay Deason was here, Denise Baker was here. The whited guy represents Sean Bible, and they're the ones that I think are gonna pay for the Riverstone.
Well, that's all well and good, but weren't those all the same people basically in the first
Yeah.
meeting that got it approved?
and
So
that-
the
yeah.
guy that put the stop work order on it, has he been involved in these meetings?
Shane Deason, is that
And
the one?
Jay Deason was here, yes.
Okay.
So what they're gonna do is that they're gonna get this new plan together. They're gonna go to LSI and say,
Lawson
I'm sorry, Lawson Associate, get this plan together and go to LSI and say, okay, here's what this is, okay? Then they're gonna go, and if they give them any problems about that, then they'll say, okay, fine, we can go back to the original figures and you can owe up to that. Then we're gonna go to TDOT. So the discussion this afternoon is that we go to LSI first, tell them what the replacements are, how much money, because they've got, you know, $16,000 that they've got to replace, dollars worth. That's a drop in the bucket.
That's part of the warranty.
But, and it could have been a lot worse after we did what we did, but, but instead of going to TDOT first and say, would you approve this? Our biggest concern is that someone needs to sign off. That didn't get signed, there was no sign off on it.
Let me explain that. In your grant process, your engineering firm is supposed to furnish a CEI, which is a civil engineer inspector. Just take, for instance, in the safe routes to school. Emily Horn done the engineering, but they have subbed it out to Gresham and Smith, which is a huge engineering firm to do the inspection process.
They'll have to put your stamp on it.
In the resurfacing grant, Griggs and Maloney did their own CEI inspection. They have someone on their staff that does that.
Put a microphone close to you in case.
And in this case here, they said that they were doing the inspection, Lotion Associates. And that's when Andrew Krager got severely sick from a leg infection and was in the hospital. And somebody on their staff didn't take over and follow through with the process. So they will be doing that inspection before it's finalized. And the process is, they sign off on it, then we have a year's warranty from LSI in case the plants die, to still replace them. If there's some of these that they've got that's already dead and they replace them and they die, we still have a year's warranty from that sign-off date from the engineering firm.
So who didn't sign off?
The engineers.
It's never been presented to sign off yet, because the
But
project.
we had an executed contract, an
But-
executed grant.
But the project wasn't finished to sign off on it yet.
You know, if there was somebody that would be upset with that, you know, I don't think the city of Fairview, you know, was put in a bad spot. LSI was put in a rough situation.
They were thrown under the bus, basically, not
You
having
know.
it signed off.
But then again, as they were talking about, John Lavender, you remember he was the one that sat here that night, and bless his heart. He says, well, that doesn't mean that they're, you know, out of the clear, because LSI, there were several specifications on the original design that LSI just blew through. They just said, forget it.
Yep.
And one was finishing the job within the time of April 15th.
Yeah.
Um,
Which they didn't start
Wonder what about
planting until.
56 household?
That
Raised bed?
wasn't, you know, so there was a
That was
lot
sold out,
of,
too.
so we all kind of said, okay, you know, we get another chance at this, do it right. My question was inspections. And I said, I'll commit to it, I'll be out there, but I want somebody else there with me. And either LSI, preferably someone from Lawson Associates, and possibly even a TDOT.
So we have a window from like,
October 15th to April 15th.
to get it planted.
Well, and
Replanted.
Andrew's going to
Redone.
talk to Paul Stacy and say,
Paul Stacy is.
he's the LSI, he's like a vice president, one of the sons, Paul Stacy III. And he's the one that lives out here, and he's the one that sat in, you know, our meetings up front. And so, and I know him, and he's a reasonable guy. There was something that happened out here, you know, but I believe that this can be fixed. And my point would be is that TDOT needs to be in in the loop constantly, because I think that's what happened.
I would say that the engineer that lives in Hickman County needs to be involved
It's their
constantly.
property, so we pretty well have to, it's not ours, so
So if they take the entire time, we've got a year from April to 15th.
If they finish, when
On
they,
April 15th.
yeah,
and it's got to be signed off and approved.
Right.
Question, all those trees those 18 trees that are not the right species, are they going to be replaced? The
yeah,
ones that are not
they have to
native?
be. Yeah, they have to be.
And I'm assuming that LSI has insurance against this type of thing. I mean, I'm assuming that when the state awards a grant,
Yeah, they
that the
have-
person,
They'll have to have a bond, a performance bond, if they do work for the state. If they do work on state property, they have to have a performance bond.
And that was one issue that come up in the meeting with TDOT, that, and Lotion Associates was, to make sure their bond is renewed.
so that's in the process. Who's responsible for that? Is that TDOT or is that us?
I can follow up on that, because that's one of my main things that I want, is make sure bonds are in place for everything.
Would the city would possibly have a performance bond on them as well, right, for the warranty, would that be?
They have a bond to the city, from LSI to the city, yeah,
They provide the bond.
right.
So I'm,
One thing that Loesch was gonna check into, to make sure
There's
that,
an annual and all this stuff that's for the highways.
But should we,
I don't remember us having anything in
It's
plan.
1,078 pages long. I have it on my computer.
but should we be, the city of Fairview be obtaining a bond from them, or is TDOT handling that bond you know, or just to, I guess, make sure
The
that we're
bond
covered.
is for the city, for this project for the city, yeah. And Lawson
You know,
Associates
if our
is,
attorney put together,
yeah, it was in the bid package.
And we're sure.
Yeah. It was $8,000, I think, for the bond,
And the bond's in place, and it's good.
yeah.
You have to relieve them of.
I understand that. Well, that's, you know, before that's kind of
Been an
passed by the
issue.
wayside. So but we know for a fact that the bond is in
That's-
place, it's good, it's still effective.
That's what Lawson Associates said when they were here at that meeting.
I will make sure that's recorded in the minutes. Okay,
When should we know?
He's talking about another meeting next Tuesday, possibly even out here. He's trying to get this together. He wants to get this ready.
Maybe.
Lowson, Andrew Krager,
I just want to make sure.
Los.
it's like Perry Mason. So we should be ready hopefully October 15th to
That's
start.
what they're saying, is before
Okay.
the month is out, September, it's all set.
And ready to
So
go.
that officially, LSI can go back and redo all this, because it is a big redo, okay? Because you're taking a lot of those plants that were in the middle is going out, so there's a lot of relocation going on, a lot of transplanting, which is sometimes worse than initial planting. It stresses the plant. So, you know, we're saying, okay, October 15th will be good, we'll get cool nights. We could start, you know, redoing this. My guess is that they'll pull all these plants out. They can't even touch the dead plants right now, according to Lawson Associates. They can't touch the dead plants until they get.
Lawson Associates cannot touch the dead plants?
No,
LSI cannot touch, according to Lawson Associates, LSI cannot touch those plants that sits on TDOT's property.
Well, there probably won't be a whole lot of transplanting because
well, they're moving
most of them are
something.
dead.
It's a 3-foot wide gravel bed, and if you look at some of those plants down the median, some of those are right on that edge. They're gonna have to move those out.
If they're alive.
But, yeah,
Yeah.
but Lisa's saying most of them, a lot of
Yeah.
those are dead.
A lot of
so
them are
it's just a
dead, so
matter
there's
of
not,
moving those out.
yeah, taking them out.
There's 588 to the wrong or dead. They're gonna be moved.
There's 80 of those are just the wrong shrub. They put in the wrong plant.
Is that the 84?
80.
Okay.
There's 80 that's of one shrub, of that 500, and whatever that figure was.
588.
588, there's 80 that is the wrong shrub. Everything else is a loss.
Jeez. It can't look good for LSI. Okay, any more discussion? So hopefully by our October meeting, we'll have some sort of,
Yeah.
okay. All right, items on hold, 5.2. 5.2.1 on hold until September 16th meeting. The Meeting Place Church on Highway 96, update on compliance issue and violation concerns. Which one of you want to take that? Wayne?
The planning will be done in October, and then Owen will do the as-built drawings at that point, after the planning's done.
Mike, have you been out there?
No, I have not. Not since all that fell through.
You know when they're going to start in October?
I've given them to October 30th to get the planning done.
Was there ever a approved landscape plan? Wasn't there something you were supposed to look at, or?
This is an unbelievable story.
No, I'll believe it. I'll believe it. Go ahead,
It
tell
goes
it.
back, no, it goes, you know, we sat here with them. you know,
I, 2 or 3, twice.
way back.
Yes.
So, and there was an approved list, and I think we've made a couple of changes. There was a couple of things on there that was not on the, what we thought was at the time the approved tree list, and what I considered was the landscape architect at the time said, fine, we'll make those changes. So I know that they're proceeding because we actually got a phone call in at our office for
Trying-
some of the
trying to
plants.
find the plants.
You know, it was, yeah, so, and, you know, Terry says, "Yeah, okay." So I know that they've got a landscaping firm looking for the plants, because that's what happens if they start calling for finding the best price and availability. Concern, though, is talking about that date of planting is always, like I've been talking in here for years, is that the availability, because the
At that time of year.
nurseries for those large caliber, you know, we're talking 2 to 4 inch caliber trees, the nurseries can dig until you get some frost and you get some, make sure there's moisture there, which usually puts it into November.
So you think I should give it an
I
additional 30
would,
days?
in all fairness, I would, knowing that, you know, they may not be able to, or they're gonna find something that's been sitting on a lot, in a yard for a while, and the quality is,
Won't be good.
and
Won't be
so,
good.
well, of course, it's no skin off our teeth, because I would ask to have it replaced
Yep.
with something better anyway, so I think if you waited, it,
So are they using the, what are they going
according to
by?
the plant list we got, it looks like they're going by the original design. And there was some, the original design that was approved.
With the
When I say
additional,
they, I mean the church.
with the additional I mean, I remember they had to come back with the additional screening.
Well, that
Because there
was-
was screening requirements they had not fulfilled.
Yeah, yeah. There was some evergreens on
Yeah,
there.
and
So
basically
that's-
that was to screen the apartments off.
Yes.
Right,
To
in the
cut
back.
down on the lighting when they would pull in.
And the house, there's a
Yes.
house.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it was at the sides and across the back. It was to protect the house, the neighbors, all the neighbors.
Right.
Are they gonna delete that second entrance where there's still kind of a road there from the construction drive?
Well,
That, I'm having Will look into that.
I'm gonna confiscate.
I'm sure T-Dot wouldn't want 2 inches either onto
Mm-hmm. They
the
can't,
street
they can't enter it from 96, because they've got their entrance.
on the back, right?
Yeah.
so they cut down more trees than the original inventory.
Okay. We'll charge them with it.
But we'll go out and do an as-built and compare it to the original
Right.
tree inventory
Yeah.
sheet.
Do we have the original?
I do.
I still have my copy out for when,
Thank you, Jane.
God,
You're
I
so
believe
good.
it.
lost in my office, but it doesn't get.
That's
I
why we
believe
can't,
it.
that's why we can't function unless you're here, Jane.
That's exactly, I could find it, but I don't throw it away.
Okay. All right, so we'll have a report in October, at the October meeting, updates.
Well, if we're gonna allow them to November, we can't do an as-built till they're in the ground.
Well,
We still should hear from them on
yeah.
what their plans are. Have they been able to secure the plants? Do they need the extra time?
Yeah, I would feel much better if we at least had some sighting of them, other than what we've been having sightings of them. I mean, you know, do they have the tree inventory? Do they realize they've cut down more trees than what they had originally done? Let's don't wait till November and then say, oh, and by the way, you've cut down 10 more trees than what you had on your original list.
I mean, I can walk back through the project again and do another inventory.
But there's probably still a site bond on that, or a
Yeah,
performance bond,
it
so,
was renewed already.
so you have some kind of, safety net, because if they don't perform it and we don't do that final, we can call that bond and we
And
get
they also don't have their final CO, right?
No,
temporary CO till they
temporary.
get
They
their.
won't get it,
as-built.
they won't get a final until it's all signed off.
Oh, that'll be good press for us. We've shut down a church.
Church, so those guys.
Shut it down, kick them out.
Well, you could be opening up the wrong one, so there you go.
You don't want to.
Yep, that'll be good.
We put another donut shop in there, it'd be all right.
There you go. That's where the donut shop is.
Okay, we'll all be on the news
Front
tomorrow
page
morning.
tomorrow.
Yes, front page tomorrow.
Board says Sound Church opens down.
Uh-huh. Okay, any more discussion on the meeting place? I hope not, for we all get in trouble. Okay, the dead tree at Stuffy Dan, Mr. Berkeley.
Was I supposed to follow up? I was. Uh-oh. Well, I messed
But
up.
I've been watching it myself.
Is it dead?
It's dead. It needs to be replaced.
DRT did it right there.
So, I mean, I'll be glad to put orange flag tape
I
on it.
can go by there and talk to
It's
them.
dead.
Yeah.
So, But we don't have, and I think that's what this part of this new business we're going to discuss.
Yeah.
We don't have anything to hold stuff in.
Yes, we do.
We do,
We
okay.
still have a bond in place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And instead of a maintenance
Well-
bond, they renewed the whole bond. So it
Well,
was
this is a 4-inch caliber red bud.
$55,000.
I thought they cut part of it down. The
They
bond.
had, no, they tried to, but they went back to, excuse me,
This is a 4-inch caliber red bud. It'll be the same situation. They're not going to dig that till November.
to November or
December,
so.
There's some trees that had to move or something because of the right of way.
They were moved back, and that's the reason it probably died. And they knew that it was probably going to, because it's kind of a funny right of way.
Because they were placed in the fall.
It actually, the way that hillside is,
That the one right there at the end of Lake Road?
that's where your right of way is. From 96, you come in here, because this is in line with their sign, and then all of a sudden it shoots uphill and then squares off, and that's the reason they had to remove some plants. So that was the reason they had to move by the T-Dot right away.
Ever put a sprinkler system in?
Okay, any more discussion?
Not
But
for
they do
those.
know that they have to replace it, correct?
Yeah. He's got a $55,000 bond in place.
Okay,
It was gonna cost them the same amount for that as it was for maintenance bond, so they just renewed their bond.
let's put that on the October agenda. On hold, you to hold on funds supporting the roadscapes project.
That's kind of from that hold until we finish that project.
Okay.
Go back and pull up.
Says
those,
it can be paid.
Okay.
Figure out what to do.
Review and provide additional details and information on recommendations sent to the BOC from the April, any update. So,
All those list of things that we want to do.
okay,
when the other
Our other
roadscapes-
projects, yes.
roadscapes is done.
all right, new business. Discussion on requiring 3-year maintenance bond on tree and shrub survival on commercial developments. Mr. Hall.
That is something that I think we've all discussed in the past. And one thing that's led to it more is a recent inspection of Fast Pace. Their maintenance bond was due to be released, so to speak. So I go out and inspect. John Bledsoe had done the inspection last year to lower it to a maintenance bond, and everything was living then. Now we have 8 shrubs dead, 1 tree dead, and another one that's very stressed out. So the lady that owns the property in California is going to make them take care of fixing it,
Them being,
the contractor,
okay.
to her.
And who's the contractor?
I forget his name, he was down in West Tennessee and Lexington, Tennessee, but I've forgotten his name.
Fast Pace.
Yeah. But anyway, I've got it in the file. But that is a reason that we need to move forward with a 3-year plan for a maintenance bond. That way, I've listened to Mike say many a time that it takes at least a couple of years for the plant to get established. So if we give it 3 years, I think that would be, and what this board needs to do, if y'all agree with me, is y'all make a recommendation to go to the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission will make a recommendation to go to the BOC. There has to be a new ordinance drafted by the city attorney. Then it's a first reading, a public hearing, and a final reading. So that's the process that we have to go through. It's a huge process, but it can be done. And we have to go in and change something in the subdivision regulation and everything, but Larry says it's no problem to do that. That'll be part of the ordinance change. But if y'all think that we all agree to that, I think it'd be a huge thing in the future. It would have helped out in the Walmart situation. It would have helped out in the Bowie Commons situation, because we would have had 3 years to make sure that the plants had survived.
Well, let me ask a question. So I know that somewhere in all this, trying to change everything and all these revisions and, us not knowing what the revisions are, that somewhere in that landscape ordinance, there was a requirement that your stuff has to live, you have to keep it alive. I mean, so does this supersede that? Does this say you only have to keep it alive 3 years?
If Ms. Jane can forward me that information, why not just include that in the ordinance? It's one of the things else that I'm gonna do as far as subdivisions go, is at, the Plan Commission level, is, go ahead and create, in our regulations, a turning lane with subdivisions of 25 lots or more, where we don't have to wait on a traffic study to tell us we need a turning lane. We just go ahead and require it.
You know, put one on Cumberland Drive.
It's already one planned, the traffic study,
You're gonna put a
yes.
turn lane on Cumberland Drive?
Yeah.
That'd all be entertainment.
Most cities I've lived in, that is required now.
I understand that. Have you been on Cumberland Drive? You can't get 2 cars on it, much less a turning lane.
I know that, because I did, when I was looking at the sidewalk, hoping to do the whole thing, and I found out less than half of it could be done with the money we're given. But I also looked at Cumberland Drive, that whole area through there for sidewalk, and that's gonna have to be a mess when we get to that, hopefully this year.
It'll be, I can't wait to see a turning lane. Jane, did you find it?
I'm not sure it says it has to be kept alive indefinitely.
Back up on that, Ms. Debbie.
Yes, sir.
It's a turning lane for that subdivision.
Okay, but,
Old Cumberland.
well, I know, but even where the subdivision is, it'd be harder to put one there than on that curve than anywhere else.
Yes, ma'am, you're right.
I live on Cumberland almost. I
Almost.
travel Cumberland.
Need to clarify that.
But they'll probably have no.
Well, actually, the curve is past the subdivision though. It's not, the curve's not, the subdivision's on a straightaway, the curve is past.
That's what we look for, another street entrance.
And
down that end.
also, you know, like when they do a turning lane, what they do is they go back into the property, you know, to make it wider. It's not like.
I'm feeling
they
sorry for
just
those poor
add it.
souls that are sitting there. It'll be interesting. It'll be fun.
If you want, I've got something else working on Cumberland and 100.
Okay,
A
Jane,
red-
will you
red
forward
light.
that to him when you find it?
Been working on that
Is
for
that
quite
what
some
we're-
time now,
what
right?
am I supposed to be for?
Any grant money set aside for that?
The requirement that when
Yeah,
your
it's money
your
that I've got
landscaping
set aside
survive, and Mike,
from
we've read that 1,000
from the
times.
fast
Where is it?
$1,000.
They're already looking into it, they're talking to TDOT now.
Or are we talking
it's
about
the
design?
design review.
That's good, then, because I've got that sidewalk.
Or is it like somewhere in the wording where if it's a detriment to public health or something, since it's.
No, there was something more. It was a little more detailed to the according to the commercial.
But how long you had to keep your stuff living?
Forward it to you too.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna try and read in there too, just look around. I've tried to read
Okay,
it.
so do I hear a motion that we send this to the planning commission?
Ma'am,
Or do you want a motion that we send the?
yes, you'll need a motion.
Send us plan commission.
With the addition of,
Can we have wording for that motion?
Yep.
Okay, let's make a motion that we carry the upgrade the other ordinance to 3 years.
wait a minute, can you make a motion? Are you on,
Planning commission, I mean, on the tree board.
He's the new member.
okay, no one's told us that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You gotta watch the VSE meetings to learn these.
And, you know, this is something too, you know, somehow information needs to filter down to the boards. However that needs to happen.
So at the point of roll call,
We had four that without,
and I apologize for being late, I had a late customer, but.
we had enough.
That's what I was thinking, at the roll call stage, I thought maybe everybody went around and did who I am.
Jane just counts.
Been here helping with codes. for
Yeah, he's been helping
several
me,
weeks.
yes.
Okay, the ordinance, what's the motion?
I don't know if we can do it, but I think we can make the motion where we revise the present ordinance to extend to 3 years,
From 1 to 3.
from 1 to 3.
Make a recommendation to the planning commission.
Yes.
To extend the maintenance
That the 3-year maintenance bond be in place instead of a 1-year maintenance bond.
Well, yeah, that ordinance extend to 3 years, because it's up to 1 year now, it's a 1-year bond. We extend that up to 3 years.
And Wayne, do you want to put the
That'll be
additional,
on the October meeting, by the way.
and do you want to put the additional wording about how long they're,
I'll present that to Larry so he can put that in the ordinance.
Yeah, if you're going to word it for tree and shrub survival, you can have, because I've been up against this before, you can have a living tree out there that looks like junk. And so I'm not sure how to word it anymore, and maybe between the planning commission and BOC.
Well, wait a minute, let's get a
That change.
second, then we'll discuss it. Is there a second?
Second.
Now we'll discuss it. Have
It's
at
already
it.
been,
No, we've not
worded.
voted on it.
No.
We've not voted.
so this is the discussion
This is the
part.
discussion part. Feel free.
It can still be amended, go ahead.
I just want to make sure that it's worded so that quality of the plantings, to preserve the quality of the commercial landscape plantings, trees and shrubs, not just tree and shrub survival.
Kind of like the tree that I saw that was very stressed out.
Yeah,
It almost, you could tell that it's about ready to die.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's-
quality based on arborist
The arborist.
opinion?
Well, I'm probably the only one.
Well, right, I mean, that's fair enough. I
Yeah,
just-
I,
That's probably not based on Debbie and I's opinion.
No, we can go out and give our opinion.
oh, God. No.
Surprised.
See,
Okay, so read the motion, Jane, please. Best you can. Best you can. Read the motion best you can.
To revise the present ordinance, to extend the maintenance bond to up to 3 years, survival and quality of trees and shrubs based on the arborist judgment.
I wouldn't put up to 3 years,
I wouldn't
because
either. I'd
that
just
makes
say
it
3
sound
years.
like they've got up to 3 years. I would just put flat 3 years. It's gonna,
I agree with
change
that.
from 1 year to 3 years.
And this is strictly on commercial development.
Commercial development, yes.
Because they'll be coming in there wanting to get a reduction in their bond. If you don't, they'll, it's alive, can we reduce it down, so and so.
That's basically an everyday thing that we hear here.
And we're also going to add the wording about, we'll also add the extra wording. Okay, let's read it again, and let's make sure that's the intent of the motion.
Why doesn't somebody read it to me? So I can get the
That,
wording.
okay,
I'll-
the 1 year maintenance bond will now be a 3 year maintenance bond on tree and shrub quality, survival, forget quality. The 3 year maintenance, it'll be a 3 year maintenance bond on tree and shrub survival, and shall also include quality of plant life, according to the city arborist. How's that?
Just to revise
Okay,
revise it up
revise the present ordinance.
from 1 year to 3 years.
The 3 year maintenance bond on tree and shrub survival.
And put it in, survival and quality,
Based on
based on the
city arborist.
inspection by city arborist.
We're giving you an awful lot of power.
You know, now you're not allowed to die.
What's that?
You're not allowed to die without a permit.
Okay, read us the ordinance, Jane. Read us
I
the
don't know.
motion, Jane.
You're
Revise
not
the
allowed to die
present
now without a
ordinance
permit.
Oh, well,
to change from 1 year to 3 years, the maintenance bond on the survival and quality of trees and shrubs based on the inspection of the city arborist, and this is on commercial development.
Is that your motion?
That's my motion.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Tree funds, Wayne,
Same as last month, Ms.
we earn money.
Well, no, we've not had a meeting too many months, so do we have a map?
Well, yeah. Take the 15,000 off of the 97.
I think they did that one.
Yeah.
They just add $8 for the next,
Yeah.
for interest.
Yeah. It's, I think the interest is like
Can I
8.
make a citizen comment?
Sure.
There's trees dead where you turn into the the Food Line building place. And it's just a matter of time they fall out in the driveway of that place. Both of them are dead. Is that, you're nodding your head, yes, you know, or you're nodding your head, really? They're dead?
Okay,
Like by McDonald's or?
yeah, that, of course.
Off of Chester, where you come out of Chester
Is it-
Road and you
is it
turn,
You go up the hill?
go up the hill.
Is it a concern for public safety?
I would say if the
I'll
good
look
wind catches them, they're
I'll
gonna
look
blow
at
out into the
I
driveway.
mean, that's the only thing, as far as what I'm allowed to do, is if it's a concern for public safety.
Okay, if they fall, they're gonna fall this way into the traffic lane.
Yeah.
Are they they're right there on the corner too, aren't they?
Dead.
They may
As
be in our
doornails.
right of way.
Huh?
What did he say?
Yeah, they
Corner.
may be.
Corner.
Okay,
So are you gonna look into that?
I have to have it directed.
I've got something I'm gonna add at the end of the meeting.
Yes, it's better.
And that's gonna involve that, so. If you want me to go ahead and make a comment, I'll do that now.
is it
Since we're
something we
gonna-
need to add it to the agenda?
No, this is just something that I'm
Okay.
gonna request of Mike, that, since I don't have an inspector right now, I'm doing some of the inspection, but if I need you on anything when it comes to plant material or anything, if you don't mind, I'll call you, we'll set a time
That's
and utilize you to make sure that the plants are living, make sure
absolutely,
they're not stressed out, this type thing.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted.
that's the way it was set up years ago
Yeah, well,
through a
let's-
previous code.
Let's go back to that
And
because that's one thing that I'd
All
like to
about
see happen.
the communications, so, yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
We're glad to do it.
Okay, then our next meeting is Tuesday, the 4th, and if no other comments? Yes, ma'am.
Says-
Can I make a non-citizen comment?
We don't necessarily encourage you to see where you live.
Mike, do they know about you going to Chicago?
What does that have to do with it?
Because it's a comment, I want them to know
Oh,
about their
okay.
farmers.
Here she goes.
Come on up here and where you can get the speaker.
And it's just something for discussion.
There's a gentleman named Pete Odo, he's Dutch. He's designed 2 gardens in the U.S. One of them is in New York called the High Line. It is the #1 most visited attraction in New York. The second one he designed was in Chicago called the Lurie Garden. He came to the U.S., to Chicago, to celebrate the Lurie Garden, have some interviews, a lot of press going on, and they're making a movie about him. So it was like a press release for the
Are you your
movie.
stories, hang on.
I don't know if you know this or not, but Mike also does a native plant podcast. He puts it out once a week, and he does this with a friend of ours out of Middleburg, Virginia. Chicago Lurie Garden called us and requested that we come to Chicago and do a podcast with Pete Udall. This is like the rock star
This is,
of all,
this is top of the mountain.
this
Go get
is
your autograph.
peak. So we just got back Sunday from doing our interview with Pete Udall, Mike and his partner, John McGee.
It's a big deal.
Pete was hesitant in doing it. He enjoyed it so much, he asked to sit in and participate in a second podcast. So, just, I want to toot his Mike's horn. a little bit.
You have the right.
Mike
Congratulations.
is his pimp, and I feel like as his pimp, I should be able to toot his horn and say,
Great.
Should we turn this off while she's,
No.
she used the word pimp.
We're gonna be in the paper for so many things.
I really,
Thank you,
Thank you,
Terry.
thank you.
Congratulations, Mr. Berkeley. On behalf of the whole board, the whole commission, I say congratulations. We're very proud of
Well,
you.
thank you. It was fun.
How can we see your podcast?
It's on,
Is that one up yet?
Your husband actually has seen it.
I've seen it.
Tom's seen it.
I've seen it.
It's all, it's not video, it's audio. So we've had 36 episodes since January 2016, and we've had some pretty big names on it, and we joke about this, we talk about the three things that we love the most, and it's the plant material, our dogs, and everybody has a dog or cat story that our guest on the show, and then we talk about some good beer at the end. And the funny thing about these podcasts, we had 2 podcasts back to back because of Pete's, and it's Piet, by the way. He's Dutch, so that's how you spell Pete in the Netherlands. Is that we were going to meet with him at 8 o'clock, do a 1-hour podcast, and then right after that meet a nurseryman that's up above Chicago and do a 1-hour podcast. And they were all involved with the Lurie Gardens, which is a beautiful gardens up there. And so we still follow our format. Talk about plants, the gardens, whatever. Talk about our dogs. Pete talked about his dog that he misses back home in the Netherlands. And yes, we toast a beer, 8 o'clock in the morning. So by noon, I had a couple of them.
I'm proud of you.
A couple of years?
Yeah.
How do we get to your podcast?
We have,
NativePlantPodcast.com,
it's really the only one that's on the,
and the one which
I see.
will be released on Thursday.
This Thursday. I had to think what day this was.
And also on the Facebook page, we have Native Plant Podcast Facebook page, but I also post them every week on the Fairview Then and Now Facebook page.
You'll have to start.
but you can get it off of iTunes.
Congratulations, sir.
Well, thank you.
Will you charge us for your autograph now?
No, will you?
Thank you. I feel honored somehow. Okay, any more accolades? Thank you.
Thanks for sticking with Los and helping give it that push, because we were all so excited about that thing, and to see it tank, I know probably hurt everybody's heart, so thank you for the help and trying to get pushed on that thing.
I believe the day that the three of us went out there in that heat and looked at every plant, it hit home to Andrew. And I think that's, yeah, serious about this.
See his legs, he was in shorts, where they were still inflamed from that infection.
Yeah.
Almost red, blood red, wasn't it?
Yeah, they were. And that heat didn't help.
He walked with us, and that heat didn't help him at all, but he hung right in there with us. I was going to give up quick. I was getting dehydrated.
I do believe.
I let him handle the last two sections.
I do believe, as a footnote, I want to add that I truly believe Lawson Associates is on our side. So we had a moment there, a few meetings back, that it didn't seem like that. I want to make sure we all know, because I spoke with the owner of the company. I spoke with John Lavender, that was the gentleman that sat here that one night, and a couple other guys, and they're all on our side, and they want this to work. Looks good.
And some of the emails that I've gotten from TDOT is that they say we need to make this happen for Fairview.
Okay,
One thing I'd like to add about this, an engineering firm that's moved out off of Franklin Road, between Franklin Road and where the fairgrounds is, very unique place. It's got one of these roofs that's over it, but this is what they have down through their main drainage system. This is rock, or river stone, however you want to call it, and plants on the other side of it. So, already had seen that when they first presented it the other day. It does work. And I went to was not Lawson Associates, it was Kimley Horn, and they actually designed the building themselves. So I agree with this Riverstone is excellent, where the drainage, you can see where the drains are here. And that's one thing that we're going to have to keep an eye on once this is installed, to make sure that our drains are kept cleaned up. There was a lot of mulch and grass the other day when you were out there.
Yeah, and covering the grates, and that's
Grates.
what, yeah.
we're adjourned.